you are well, and I also hope that you are having a good day so far. Today, we'll be doing our grade 2 English lesson on possessive nouns. And before we start, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once you've logged on to aplusstudents.ca with our username as well as our password, and then we're going to select the subject of language arts, grade 2, and then we're going to scroll down up until we get to the chapter of possessive nouns. So our chapter is possessive nouns. Sorry. Our subject is English Language Arts, grade 2. And the lessons that we are going to be focusing on under the chapter of possessive nouns is to identify plurals, singular possessives, and plural possessives. And then we're also going to form the singular and plural possessives. All right. So when it comes to possessives, right, it basically shows something that belongs to you, it shows something that you own, right? So a possessive noun, it shows who owns something or it shows who has something. So it shows who or what owns something or who has something. So if something belongs to you, right, then we can say, and your name is Jake, then we can say it is Jake's iPod or iPad, right? Or if it belongs to Anna, right? This is Anna's name. But if it belongs to Anna, then we say it is Anna's with an apostrophe S, iPhone or something, right? Or it is Anna's doll, but we put an apostrophe as well as an S, right? To show possession, right? So possessive noun, it shows either who owns something or who has something, right? So if something belongs to you, then we don't just say it is Jack's something. You need to put Jack's with an apostrophe S. And when a noun is singular, right? So singular refers to either one person, one place, one animal, or one thing. So when a noun is singular, then we add an apostrophe and an S, right? Like we did with Anna. So we said Anna's with an apostrophe as well as an S. So if the noun is singular, right? So like Anna's phone, then we put an apostrophe and an S. So there we have an apostrophe and an S. That is what you add, right? And that is basically to form the singular possessive, right? And if we look at an example, so for example, Matt, right? Matt is the name of a boy. So if the glove belongs to Matt, so the glove belongs to Matt, then we can say it is Matt's glove. So you see Matt, right? That is the name of, or that is his name, or the name of the boy. But now we want to say that this glove over here belongs to Matt. So instead of saying the glove belongs to Matt, we can say it is Matt's glove. And there we put the apostrophe as well as the S. So that basically shows that Matt owns the glove. It is Matt's glove, right? The bird, right? We're referring to one bird. It's singular. We said if something is singular, we add an apostrophe and an S. So the bird, right? If we want to talk about the bird's wing, right? Then we say the bird's wings. So we have the word bird with an apostrophe as well as an S. And that shows that that wing, we are specifically talking about that bird's wing. If we want to say that it is, for example, the ball belonged to David, for example, right? If we want to make an example and say that the ball belongs to David, and then we can say it is David. You see, there's his name, but we put an apostrophe and an S. So now we show that it is David's ball, meaning that David owns the ball. So it's David's ball. He owns the ball, right? If it is Divine's laptop, right? And then we can say Divine, there's Divine's name, right? But if the laptop belongs to Divine, then we can say it's Divine's, an apostrophe, it is laptop. That shows that they own those things. David owns the ball, Divine owns the laptop, meaning it is David's ball and it is Divine's laptop, right? So we add an apostrophe and an S when the noun is singular, right? And that is to form the singular possessive noun. And then when a noun is plural, right? And plural refers to when it is two or more people, places, animals, or things, right? So when a noun is plural and it ends with an S, then we just add an apostrophe, just an apostrophe to form the plural possessive. So which means that if we are referring to something that is more than one, right? So now, of course, the noun is going to end in an S. So now we're not going to put an apostrophe and an S. We're only going to add an apostrophe at the end of that word. For example, the boys' camp, right? So the boys' camp. So the boys, it's more than one, right? The boys with an S, it refers to more than one. So if we want to talk about their camp, right? And then we say it is the boys' camp. And as you can see, we did not put apostrophe and an S because the S was already there, boys. We just added the apostrophe at the end. So we just added the boys is there. So all we did was we added the apostrophe. So it shows that it was the boys' camp. We want to say that it belongs to the girls, right? Girls. And then we put girls, which is plural, which refers to more than one girl. And we want to say it's their rope, right? Then we can say it is the girls' ropes. And we put an apostrophe at the end of that word. The schools, if we're referring to more than one school, right? If we want to talk about their teams, whether it is the football team, the netball team, the athletics team, but we're referring to more than one school, right? You see, schools, meaning we're referring to either two or more schools. So if we want to talk about the teams that will probably be competing against one another, And then we say the school's teams. And there we can see that there's an apostrophe that is at the end of that word with no S. Not apostrophe and an S, only an apostrophe because the word already ends with an S. So we put an apostrophe at the end of that word, right? And then we have another one. If the word is if the noun is plural, right, refers to either more than one person, animal, place, or thing, right, and it does not end in an S, right? So if it refers to more than one or two or more either things, right, but it does not end with an S, then we add an apostrophe and we add an S, right? So, for example, children, right? So, children, it refers to more than one, right? More than one child. But children does not end with an S because we don't say childs, right? So, if we want to show that the toys belong to the children, and then we say it's the children's toys, and that is apostrophe and S. And then we have mice. Remember, mice, you have one mouse. You have one mouse, but you have two or more mice, right? So mice is the plural form of mouse. So we have one mouse that eats the cheese, but we have two or more mice that eats the cheese, right? For example. So which means that mice, we can't say mouses. So mice is the plural form to show that it is more than one mouse, right? Mice, and mice does not end with an S. So if we want to make mention of the mice and the tails, right? And then we can say the mice's tails, and it ends with an apostrophe and an S. Right? So that is basically possessive nouns, and we get singular possessive and we get plural possessive, right? Singular possessives, right? It refers to one person, one place, one animal, or one thing. And with singular possessives, we add an apostrophe as well as an S. And then we have plural possessives, right? Which refers to anything that is two or more people, places, animals, or things, right? And if the plural possessive ends with an S, right, to show that there's more than one, and then we only put an apostrophe at the end of that word. And then we also have plural possessive. If plural possessive does not end with an S, right? Like children or mice, and then we then put an apostrophe and an S. And once again, a possessive noun, it shows who or what owns something or has something. So if something belongs to you, we can say it is Divine's, we can say it is Matt's, we can say it is David's, we can say it is Brian's, for example, right? Because it shows that it belongs to you, or it shows that you have something, right? All right. So we are doing our tutorial lesson on A plus students.ca. So we are doing a tutorial lesson on A plus students.ca. So let's go to A plus students.ca, and that is where we're going to do our tutorial lesson as well as our test. So we said our chapter is possessive nouns. And the first lesson that we're going into is identify plurals, singular possessives, and plural possessives. All right, and we said possessive nouns. It shows who or what owns something or has something, right? That is basically just me again repeating that. So possessive noun, it shows either who or what owns something or has something. And we said that we add an apostrophe as well as an S to form a singular possessive. So that is, if the noun is singular, then we add an apostrophe as well as an S. So we add an apostrophe and S. There we have an example. And we made an example of mat, right? If we say that something belongs to Matt, so if the glove belongs to Matt, then we can say it is Matt's glove, and we added an apostrophe and an S just after the name Matt, because it shows that that glove belongs to Matt. It's Matt's glove. He's the owner of the gloves, right? Then when a noun is plural, it refers to more than one or two or more things, right? Then it and the word, for example, ends with an S, then all we do is we just add an apostrophe to form the plural possessive. And we made an example of the boys. If we are talking about all of the boys that's going on a camp, right? Then we can say it is the boys' camp. So all we do is we add an apostrophe at the end of that noun, right? Okay, so now we're going to do an activity, right? We are going to identify the word in bold, and we're going to say if it's either a singular possessive or if it's a plural possessive. Singular meaning we're referring to one, and plural meaning referring to two or more things, right? Or people. It says Carter painted the fairies' wings yellow. So the word in bold, which is fairies. So Clara painted the fairies' wings yellow. Is my screen black? How? Um, my screen for who else can't see my screen? Who else can't see my screen because it looks fine from my side. Can you see my screen now? All right. Okay, so all good. Okay, so now we say Clara painted the fairy's wings yellow, right? So the word fairies, does fairies refer to one or is it more than one that we are talking about? So Clara painted the fairy's wings yellow. Are we referring to one fairy or are we referring to more than one fairy? And if we're referring to one fairy, then it is singular. And if we're referring to more than one fairy, right, fairies, and then it is plural noun. All right, so if we look at the word fairies, right, then fairies will be plural because it refers to more than one fairy, right? So this is a plural possessive noun. And the reason why we're saying possessive, it's because it ends with a apostrophe, right? So Clara painted the fairies' wings yellow. So this is a plural possessive noun, right? All right, so let's go to our test. It says, what is the word in bold? So we either going to say if the word in bold is singular. There's a difference between the word being plural and there's a difference between possessive, plural possessive. So there's a difference between the word plural, being plural, and plural possessive, right? If the word is just a plural noun, then it means that we are referring to something that is more than one, right? But if we are talking about the plural possessive noun, then it means that it's either someone or something owning something, right? So we rode our bicycles to the park. We rode our bicycles to the park. So the word bicycles, is it just a plural noun which refers to more than one thing? Or is it a singular possessive noun? Singular refers to one. So bicycles. Does it refer to more than one, which means it's a plural noun? Or is it a singular possessive noun? Bicycles. All right, and if we choose the correct word or the correct answer, then we will say it is a plural noun because bicycles refers to more than one. It basically just refers to two or more. So well done. The first one, which is plural nouns, is correct. So well done, guys. Clara painted the fairies' wings yellow. There we have an apostrophe. So the apostrophe, does it mean that it is a plural possessive noun? Or is it just a plural noun? Remember we said that if there's an apostrophe, it is a possessive noun because it shows that it belongs to someone or something. But if it's just showing that it is more than one thing, then it's just a plural noun. Do you want me to explain again? Do you want me to explain again, Judy, so that you can understand it a bit better? All right. Okay, let's just quickly do this one, right? So this is a plural possessive noun, right? Okay, let us just quickly go back. Okay, so basically we have a singular and we have a plural noun, right? Singular refers to one person or one thing, right? So whether it is a person, a place, a thing, an animal, right? Because remember, we're saying it's a plural noun, and nouns are people, places, animals, and things, right? We name those things. So singular refers to one. But now we are not just doing singular and plural, we are not doing possessive nouns, right? So a singular possessive noun, it means that there's either one person, one animal, or one thing that owns something, right? So for example, let's say you, Judy, right? So if let's say it is your doll. So let's say the doll belongs to you. So the doll belongs to Judy, right? So if the doll belongs to Judy, Judy is one person, which means that Judy is a singular person, right? So which means that we will then say it is Judy's doll. So there's your word name, Judy, but we put an apostrophe and an S. Judy's doll, right? So now by adding the apostrophe and an S, right? This now shows that it is a singular possessive noun. Possessive. So possessive noun or the word possessive means that you either own something or something belongs to you, right? So now instead of just saying, for example, the doll belongs to Judy, we can say it is Judy's doll, right? Which means that this doll belongs to Judy, and that is a singular possessive, right? If we want to say that the ball belongs to the boys, right? So if we want to show that the doll belongs to the ball, sorry, belongs to the boys. As you can see, boys, right? It ends with an S. It ends with an S, right? Which means that it is plural. It is more than one animal, person, thing, right? So boys is more than one person that we are talking about. So if we want to say that the ball belongs to the boys are taking ownership of the ball, then we say it is the boys' ball, for example. So we are going to add the apostrophe afterwards because that word, that's plural word, already ends with an S, right? Not spec- it's yes, it's almost like the way don't is spelled, right? It's similar to how don't is spelled with an apostrophe and a T, but don't is something else, right? But that is correct. It's just that we put an apostrophe and we put an S, right? So then if we put an apostrophe by something that is more than one, we say this is a plural possessive. So this is a plural possessive, right? But as long as we don't put say for example, you don't add the apostrophe and it is a plural, right? Then we just say it is a plural noun. It just refers to something that is two or more. But if there's no apostrophe, then it means that it is just a plural noun. As soon as we add an apostrophe and we're referring to two or more people or things, then it is a plural possessive noun. Anything that shows that someone or something owns something or it belongs to someone, then we say it is a possessive noun. whether it's singular possessive or plural possessive. But if it doesn't show that it owns, that someone owns something, then it's either just singular or it's just plural noun. All right. All right, so now we're going to form singular and plural possessives, right? And we said possessive nouns, it shows either who or what owns something or has something. So if you either own something or has something, it is basically yours. It can either be Nadine's, can be Judy's, it can be Divine's, it can be Brian's, it can be David's, right? So we are now going, so that is a possessive noun, right? And then we made mention of a singular possessive that ends with an apostrophe and an S. And then a plural possessive, it basically just ends with an apostrophe after the S, right? So for example, if look at we here it says his wife name, right? So we need to change this word wife to show that the wife belongs to the husband, for example. So we say his wife name. Is that correct? We need to add the apostrophe and an S within that sentence. So we can say his name. So we can then say his wife's, and we put an apostrophe and an S. It refers to his wife's, right? And the wife's name. It belongs to her. So as soon as you put the apostrophe and an S, then it shows possession, right? It shows something belongs to me. It shows something belongs to you, belongs to something else, right? All right, so now let's go to our test. We're now going to choose the correct possessive form of the given noun, right? Our colors. Is it our flag colors or our flag's colors? Option one, our flag colors, or option two, our flag's colors. We need to choose the correct possessive noun. We need to choose the correct possessive noun. Do we say our flag colors or do we say our flag's colors? Which one is the correct one? Option one or option two, the possessive noun? Remember we said with a possessive, we always put the apostrophe and the S. Guys, nobody's answering. Which one do you think is the correct answer? Let's at least try. Let's at least try to choose the correct answer. Whether the answer is right or whether the answer is wrong. Let's just choose one of the options, either option one or option two. Do we say our flag colors or do we say our flags is colors? Which one is correct? The possessive noun. Remember, possessive noun. Possessive noun shows something that you own, right? Or that belongs to you. Possessive noun needs to have the apostrophe as well as the S. All right, then if we choose the correct one, right? Remember we say we are typing the possessive form. The possessive form, right? Okay, let me choose what you guys chose, right? I'm going to choose what you guys chose. You see, if we just say our flag colors, right? And then it is not correct. If we make mention of possessive nouns, right? Then the possessive nouns, it has the apostrophe and the S, right? So which means that it is our flag's color, right? But well done, and thank you very much for trying. All right, remember possessive nouns, possessive forms, we put the apostrophe and the S must be there. So, do we say it is the table edge or it is the table's edge? The possessive noun. Do we say it is the table edge or the table's edge? So the table edge or the table's edge. We need to choose the possessive noun. All right, and if we choose the correct one, we can say it is the table's edge. And when we say the table's edge, then we're specifically talking about that edge of the table, right? And the table's edge is correct. So well done, right? Because that is a possessive noun. His wife name. The name belongs to his wife. So is it his wife name or his wife's name? His wife name or his wife's name. It is the name that belongs to his wife. All right, and if we choose the correct word, right, and then it is his wife's name because the name belongs to his wife. So well done. Wife's is correct. Then we say the also we need to choose the possessive form, right? Do we say the hunter idea or it is the hunter's idea? It is the idea that the hunter came up with. So if the hunter came up with the idea, is it the hunter idea or the hunter's idea? So the hunter idea or the hunter's idea. So the hunter idea or the hunter's idea. It is the idea that belongs to the hunter. All right, and if we choose the correct word, then we can say it is the hunter's idea, right? Because it's the idea that belongs to the hunter. All right, so that is now the end of our lesson on possessive nouns, right? We said possessive nouns, it shows something that either belongs to someone or basically that someone has, right? And we have singular possessive as well as plural possessives, right? And with singular possessive, we add an apostrophe and an S. And with plural possessives that end with an S, we just add the apostrophe, right? And there's a difference between a plural possessive that ends with an apostrophe and a plural noun that just ends with an S. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining the class. I really hope that you do understand what possessive nouns are. Thank you very much for interacting. So I really hope you're going to have a good evening further. Goodbye.